why I wanted to become a scientist. Quite early on I was really interested in nature and living organisms, so I decided to study biology.
It was sort of very early on. I quite liked the idea of just trying to discover things, trying to work things out.
If I think about what inspired me to be a scientist, I think I would go all the way to my childhood, which I think I remember very clearly. I had an interest in medicine.
I was 16 and I remember it quite well. Originally I thought I was going to be a geneticist because I was interested in how very early on a cell decides what it's going to be and how it's going to work.
While I was studying, I actually saw a really interesting documentary about artificial hearts. So someone was removing the cells from a heart and had like a living artificial heart. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, I want to do that as well.
At that time, I'm not sure that I really understood what it was that was driving that process, but I was fascinated by just the things that surround you and how things happen.
It is the sort of inspiration you get looking at the wonders of medicine and the way in which it helps people in various walks of life. I would look back and think especially about how I was fascinated by the idea of surgery.
Over time, throughout my degree, I realized actually I was quite interested in something a little bit further down the pipeline, so something that's going to be applicable to a patient, a new treatment that's going to make a real difference to people's daily lives.
Interestingly, the person that taught me to spin ball at cricket was a professor of biology at the local university, and he told me about his work. And he was one of those really inspirational characters, and I think if I look back through my life, I've been really, really lucky at each stage of my education, and even now I'm learning every day, it doesn't stop. But actually there have been real mentors along that line that have really inspired me and just built on that desire to unravel things.
The role models that you grow up to admire, you follow their footsteps, and I think by the time I got to university, I was quite interested in the molecular detail and the scientific approaches to medicine. That's how I went into research.
There have been small whoopee moments where I've made a discovery. And I think the thing that sends goosebumps up the back of my spine is the fact that actually at that moment in time, I realise I am the first human being probably to have seen whatever it is. It might be a very small thing that I've seen, but isn't that great, just thinking that actually I'm the first person that's seen this?
I'm really passionate about health, human health in particular. And so by becoming a scientist, not only could I satisfy my knowledge of how the body works, but also do something that's going to be useful for individual patients and for society as a whole.